Mhm. Hey, welcome to Kingdom Cast. It's Thursday night. You know what time it is. You know what time it is. Um, First of all, what's up, Boogie? Am I echoing? I'm sorry.
You are echoing, yes.
Okay, do the intro, D
I
Mac,
got
please.
you. You go ahead while you fix your
Jesus
technical
Christ.
difficulties. Yes, welcome back to another edition of Kingdom Cast. We are, in the middle of preseason football week one. After the Hall of Fame game, which is basically no reason being played, is out the way. Training camp is 3 weeks down. Padded practices. The Chiefs are preparing to travel to Jacksonville on Saturday. We got Mrs. Kylie Winfrey here on the bottom left, Boogie on the bottom right. We got Country going in and out with the audio. With yours truly, D Mac here. I think we're still getting that echo, Country.
Oh,
Not happy about that at all. Obviously, a lot has happened as we get through these weeks of training camp. All right. Is Boogie and Country lagging us? Okay.
both frozen, I think.
Oh, that's not good. 'Cause I think we're good.
I think so.
Okay. Boogie's refreshing. Let's see. Okay, this is
Great start.
this is an awesome start to the podcast.
It happens.
Yeah, we're also all over the place. Yeah, Boogie's also now. Are we good now? It's just us two, and I think
I think we're good. I don't know what's going on with him.
I don't know. It's a lot that's going on here. We haven't had Kylie on the podcast in a long time, though, so it's good to see that you're back.
Thanks. It's good to be back. I'm here now. I'm here. Country's back now.
Yes.
Hello,
Boogie.
Queen.
Hello.
It's good to see y'all guys. I don't know what's going on with my phone tonight, but we gonna soldier through this thing. What's up, D Mac?
Yeah, well, I think we've got the echo fixed up, so I think we're good now. At least on your
Okay,
end.
it was
We
Boogie.
lost
It was Boogie the whole time.
His headphones.
We're gonna hear about that. But new headphones. Yeah, I mean, look, we haven't had Kylie on the podcast in a while. Obviously, Country, we saw you up there at training camp. Briefly, we had a handshake. You guys were up in the tent area. We and Corey were down there on the field level as well. Got to see a lot of things happen during that padded practice that were very interesting. I think a good place to start while we work back into it. Kylie, you haven't been here in a while. Has anything from this entire span of training camp really caught your eye? Just news that you've heard, obviously storylines, Kingsley Suamataia, rookies, anything across the board. Really anything you want to get off your chest?
You would make me go right to that name. That's so difficult to pronounce.
He does it so effortlessly too. It's like
I know.
I've had a lot of
Really,
practice.
D-Mac?
I've had a lot of practice. That's all it is.
All right, I got it. No, Kingsley Suamataia. Did I do it?
Ding, perfect.
First try, second. I've been practicing on my way to work. I'm just like Suamataia. So anyway,
hilarious.
I've been really surprised by him. I heard it was the other day. He had a really great. He's been stringing together some really great practices, and I think that's been really interesting to watch. I really didn't know what to expect from him. Obviously, being a rookie, and then of course we know that Wanye was stepped in when he needed to last year and kind of started getting the ball rolling. And I thought maybe we would see him, and we could still see him be the starter. I don't know that that's the case, but so I was a little surprised to see Kingsley Suamataia. I'm nailing it. It makes me really excited. To see him kind of come in and not only step up and take that one job, it looks like, but kind of making a very big impression on those guys. Like I think he bulldozed Karlaftis one time yesterday or the day before, and I don't know, he's just really making a big impact. But my biggest takeaway right now is this: I'm a really big fan of Jared Wiley. I'm just super stoked and high on him, and I love that he's really getting to work with Travis Kelce. And I think that obviously Kelsey's not getting any younger, but he's still firing on all cylinders. But I think this is a really great opportunity for him to kind of start passing that baton along. And I think we've got some great guys in the tight end room bring that along. So it's been really fun. The wide receiver room's been really interesting to watch. I know we'll get into all of this like a little bit more probably, but it's going to be interesting. I feel like the top 4 are pretty cemented, but then after that, it's like, I don't know, could be like a little bit of a shuffling around. I don't know if Sky's going to make it. Remember last year, Boogie, I can't even talk about it. Last year, me talking about Sky was like a completely different thing. I was like, Sky Moore, this is the season. And now I'm like, I don't think
1,000 yards. Let's go.
Yeah, exactly. 1,000 yards. This is this year. But anyhow, it's been fun. No, we can't hear you.
Oh yeah, last year we talked about Derek Nottie, and then he went and had like I wouldn't say a career year, but he had a very, very solid year up until his injury.
He made me shut up.
He made me shut up too. There was definitely a time in which we thought that Derek Nottie was somebody that could be on the chopping block. He like there was a possibility that he was going to be pushed off the roster, but he came out with probably his best season yet, and we kind of needed it early on as Chris Jones. Yeah, no, that actually might be me this time. Actually, hold on, Country, you talk about Derek Nottie in his best season yet, and then see if it's.
It was nice. It's nice to. I mean, it's nice to find that guy that's going to come out of nowhere and just impress you and put on a good camp. I think that guy's been Nico Remigio this year. I think he's the hero of camp so far. He's the folk hero that all the fans love, and he's been putting on some impressive days. So I want to see it in this preseason game.
For sure. That's another one where the name is it Remigio? I've heard it different ways.
What's the proper pronunciation of his name?
So I was looking at the media guide, the pronunciation guide with the unofficial depth chart. It's Remigio. It's like the G is kind of silent, I guess. However you pronounce
Remigio.
Yeah, Remigio.
Nico.
Nerdy stuff to look at. But yes, shout out to Nico Remigio. But I think that actually is a fair place to start because I think that it is worth framing it in this case of the wide receiver room has transformed last year, in which we were expecting a lot of unproven guys to step up, try and fill roles, and really have career years in a lot of cases. And now we're in a case in which those guys that we were expecting to step up, Sky Moore, Kadarius Toney, Nico Remigio, who's Cam Darling, that believe this is not different question. He was Cam Darling, Justin Ross. Those guys now are fighting for a roster spot. They aren't fighting to step up into a role and be counted on significantly. And that's because we have a solid 3, Rashee Rice, Hollywood Brown, Xavier Worthy, who we've all seen impressive plays from in camp, good chemistry building with Patrick Mahomes. We know what Justin Watson brought to the table last year. We expect him to continue that as well. Mecole Hardman was brought back. You expect him to be back on this team because of a veteran presence in the locker room, even though there's been a lot of talk about him lining up in the right areas, which is a different conversation, and things of that nature. But they like to have him in the room, and so that does matter. So I will ask you guys in this case, who do you guys think is going to get that last spot right now before we get to preseason games? Because if we assume that that's the 5 locked in and there's only going to be 6 on this team, some of these guys are going to be left off between the Nikos, the Skies, the Kadarius Tonys, and the Justin Rosses of the world.
So, I mean, I think who I would like that spot to go to would be Nico Remigio. But who I think it's going to go to is Kadarius Toney. I don't know. I just feel like the way they're trying to work him in the running game, they're trying to work him. I just feel like there's a lot of pride there too because they went and got him, and they're just not ready to maybe give up on him. I mean, he's also getting paid either way, if I'm correct. So I think that's another factor there. But I don't prefer that. I would much rather see Nico Remigio get another chance. I think he was doing really great things last preseason before he got hurt. He's a guy who's eager, he's hungry, he's ready to prove himself. And like you said, he's the camp darling. So he's showing up on the field every day. And he's also, again, he was hurt last preseason, but I need Tony to be available, and he just really struggles to be available. He's either got a back problem or a hamstring problem or whatever. I just need him to stay healthy. And that's a concern.
That's a huge concern. It's always a concern. He's a talented guy, but he just cannot stay on the field. It's just at this point, what are we doing? You know, and it feels like all of this moves, all the trying to work him at running back, and it just feels desperate. You know, like a last ditch opportunity. Do y'all feel like that?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, they're trying to get creative to get him on the field. They know that he's not going to get the snaps that he got for week 1, as far as that's concerned. He just isn't going to. So it doesn't need to be that way. So, yeah, use him in a gadget role, spread him out, special teams, use him out of the backfield. Those things are available to Kadarius Toney. But in this case, he doesn't need to get those snaps. And I would love to see Nico Remigio on this team because I think he's our best return option right now. I truly do believe that. He's got a body type that is fit for the kick return role. We've seen him have successful punt returns. I don't think that it's anything to go away from that standpoint. But to your point, Kylie, the investment in the draft picks and the contract could get him on the team. Go ahead, Boogie.
I think Kadarius Toney. Can y'all hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I feel like Kadarius Toney. I feel like every year Andy Reid has that one player where we all complaining about we should have got rid of him a year or two early, and I feel like Toney is gonna be that guy. I just don't understand what they see in him to continue to try to get him snaps, plays. I just don't understand what they see in him over at least trying it with Justin Ross, trying it with Remigio. I just don't understand that. But I do feel like those last couple spots is gonna be tough. Like you said, it's gonna be six thinking. I just don't see Toney not making the team now, and I hope I'm wrong. But just everything they've shown us, what they've told us. I mean, they actions. Why do we even think he's getting cut now?
Yeah.
I mean, I still think I still got faith in Scott. Like we said, but my other thing with this receiver thing, I don't want to miss this point. I feel like I say this every time I see D-Mac. He brings this out of me. But we doing all this for Kadarius Toney, right? But that's the exact same thing we gonna have to do if McCole is on the team. We already have a Kadarius Toney. Why do we need another one? We already have that exact same thing. And then you still got Xavier Worthy. Like, do we need another one of those type of receivers? Or do you need to just at least try with the Ross? My thing with Sky, like I said, me and Kylie was big Sky fans. I still think if we use him in a different way, he could be productive. I don't think he's going to be a 1,000-yard receiver. I think he could be productive, but it just might not be with the Chiefs. Like Quinn said, I could really see us trading Scott Moore. That's nasty.
I haven't been to camp. I unfortunately am not able to make it this year, but I know y'all have been. So do you feel like you've seen things out of Sky that would make you think he can make this team with everything?
You know,
with all
it's
the
great.
receivers in the room?
Yeah, the crazy part is I think I even saw early on in camp he was struggling, and then after the pads came on, he played a lot better. So I've seen better consistent ability to get off of physicality from that standpoint. I think he's been fine at the catch point to that point. I've seen some actually nice explosion that I didn't really see from him in previous camp, so I was impressed by that standpoint. So I want to see him in these games and see how it translates because he got better when the pads came on during camp. So I'm interested, but you talk about obviously the body type of a wide receiver. Yes, the diversity is not something that I would be opposed to. But if Justin Ross has one role on this team to be a red zone threat, and they feel great about the Titans that they already have, I don't think that they're going to go out of their way to make that role on the 53-man roster. I don't think that's something that they're going to emphasize. And I, for better or for worse, because again, I like what Justin Ross could bring to the table, but I don't know if that's realistically what they're going to go in that direction. I know, Manny. I'm sorry. We're trying to work out the audio issues.
Yeah, man, we having some audio issues tonight. I was just wondering, like, why is the forgiveness for Kadarius Toney so quick, and then there's no forgiveness for Sky Moore? The Indianapolis game was like a year and a half ago. Like, let it go. Like, what has he done since then? Like, it's crazy.
But is that from the fans or is that just the coaching side? I don't think the
That's
Chiefs
the fans.
I don't think we forgave Tony. I don't think that's what's going on. I think it's the coaching staff.
I agree. Honestly, I don't think that the fans have forgiven Sky or Kadarius Toney. Honestly, I think people have far more favor for Justin Ross. Not talking about you, Boogie, specifically, but just because the way he let it down wasn't as pronounced. It wasn't as kind of backbreaking as we saw with Toney and Sky Moore. So it's a little bit different from that standpoint as well. So that's what I'm interested to see. Is this a contract, a draft pick investment conversation that ends up making that last roster spot? Or is this going to simply be about, hey, when the lights are bright and you're hitting somebody in different pads or a different jersey and you perform, you earn that spot. And if that's what ends up happening, I think that's great. And I think that Nico Remigio is a guy that has a shot. If not, it's probably going to be Sky or KT.
Man, I don't know if my heart can handle another Justin Ross, Willie. He won't. Like the last two training camps were like Justin Ross, and then inevitably, like he did make it last year, but then like there was a legal thing that kind of came up, so I don't know. Do you guys think they're going to keep 6 or 7 wide receivers?
I'm in the camp of 6.
You're not
6, Boogie. We can't hear you.
You can.
Yeah.
My fault. Quick, before we answer that, Kylie, I think the only difference with that Ross situation and the Sky Moore and the Toney situation from last year compared to this year is we really don't need these players this year. Last year, we needed these players, and they just could produce. Now it's like, okay, this is our 4th, 5th, 6th option. Oh, okay, it's okay if Toney or Sky is not playing up to a 2nd-round pick or a 1st-round pick. That's cool, but so I think that it's a little different now. But your question was, you said how many receivers we go keep?
6 or 7.
I'm gonna go 6 this year.
Yeah, he's not doing 7 again. He doesn't, and not only is he not doing 7 again because he's just not doing that again, but he's not doing it because they could use an extra running back because of the question marks that they have there. Tony. They have Erskine Jr. that they could keep on that tight end if they want to. They could keep an extra offensive lineman given how young that room is going to look like it when we get to actual regular season. So those things are all coming into play from that perspective. But for me, I mean, I just want to see these guys go out and compete because to your point, we don't need them. I feel so much more comfortable with the room, even as much as I did love what Sky Moore could bring to the table and my skepticism about Toney aside from last year. I want to see these guys go out and earn it because I know that the top 3, really the top 4, I can reasonably count on for what they're going to bring to the table. I know what Hollywood Brown is going to do, being able to beat zone with his actual speed. I know what Rashee Rice is going to do in the short and intermediate. I know what Xavier Worthy is going to do stretching the field. I know what Travis Kelce and Justin Watson and Noah Gray and Jared Wiley are going to bring to the table. So I know all of those things. So that means I'm just sitting back and watching who wants this last roster spot. Now, look, Kadarius Toney being out the backfield, the special teams value, that maybe gives him a leg up. Sky Moore, they want to develop him more in the slot, and he wants to come out and be more physical and more explosive. Maybe that gives him a leg up. Nico Remigio's return value and his ability that I got to say, he's been making some incredible catches as far as camp is concerned. And some of that is like one-off plays, but some of it's also an impressive thing from his perspective. So I just want to see these guys compete at that point.
I actually think like the 4 tight ends or the 3 tight ends and a fullback has almost like eclipsed that question of 6 or 7 wide receivers. I think like 6 or 7 wide receivers, like last year, it really was like Boogie said, we needed those guys. And it was a real question of like, okay, what are we going to do? But now it's like, hey, are you going to cut Irv Smith or Is Carson still bringing back the fullback position on his team? Like, we've had fullbacks before. We've done both. You know what I'm saying? Or it's an interesting question. I think we used to fight over – it was a lot more spots up for grabs last year. This year, it's really like 4 or 5 spots. It's not a lot of – most of the team is already spoken for, in my opinion. If we were doing 53 right now, I think I would have like 48 guys locked up.
Oh, I thought Boogie was going to go there. But no, I think that's true, and I think that's fair. I think there was more roster churn last year. Veterans coming in and out. Obviously, the wide receiver situation was massive. So I think that's perfectly fair. But yeah, it's also an aspect of being a championship team. You're returning a lot of talent, and there's just not going to be a lot of spots. And that bar to actually make it into those spots is going to be incredibly high as a result. And that's how it should be to try and make this team as well. And talking about obviously the running back, tight end type of situation from this point. The other thing that I wanted to get into from a weapon aspect of it is we've seen a lot of Deneric Prince running with the ones consistently ahead of CH. And we know CH has obviously had obviously we talked about some of his mental health things that he's been working through back at camp. And we're happy to see him working back at camp. Certainly last time that we were up there. And so I'm interested to see how that translating paths. Has he made improvements from what we saw last year? Because what we saw last year wasn't all that good. And if it's not, then that means it's a lot more on Isaiah Pacheco, who's been putting on a lot of work. We've seen the battles he's had with Drew Tranquil from a pass protection standpoint, but that's going to mean that he's got to be a 3-down back and then take a heavy workload even after taking a really heavy workload last year on top of that. So Irv Smith Jr., Jared Wiley, Noah Gray, we've seen them make some plays in camp as well. Certainly been a lot of hype around Jared Wiley. Boogie and Kylie and Country, from you guys' perspective, I mean, how do you guys feel about that running back tight end situation as far as the Carson Steele's and Eric Prince's and those 3 tight ends behind Travis Kelce are concerned?
I'm gonna start off and say that I think Isaiah Pacheco, maybe during exit meetings last year, coach was like, "Look, we're gonna need you to be a 3-down running back. We can't keep doing what you can't be a liability in pass protection because it's so focused, like this whole in training camp, whether you have to go or not." He's pass protection, like working on it heavy. He's going back and forth with Drew Tranquil every day.
I love that
and
shit,
still
man.
Sharp and still. I love it. I think somebody got in his ear and was like, "Hey, we love McKinnon, but we're not bringing Jared back to save you this year. He just wants to move on." I think Jared McKinnon. I think last year was really his last year. It wasn't announced. I think that was purposely his last year, but. It seems like Isaiah Pacheco was challenged to take on this challenge of being an every down running back, and I think he's serious. I think he's hungry for it, and I think he's ready for it. And we'll see how it goes in the season. But I feel like he stood up. What they say, you ring the bell, and he answered the bell. You know what I'm saying? The call.
I love what I'm seeing from Pacheco. What's so crazy about Pacheco is like you watch him play last year, you watch him play the season before that, and you're like, how does this guy get any more energy, get any more fire? Like, how could he possibly find more oomph? And he comes out this training camp and he does, and he's finding ways to improve every day, and he's taking the time to improve every day when that pass pro, like you mentioned. And I don't know, it's just very impressive. He's just a really hungry kid. He came in, he took a grown man's job, and it's like he's still fighting today to take a grown man's job. It's just like, it's really impressive. I like Deneric Prince. I was a really big fan of Deneric Prince last year. I'm excited to see him kind of work his way up and really make an impact this year. I like the Carson Steele. I like the idea of bringing a fullback back, especially since we struggle on those short yardage situations. We really, really need a fullback that can come in and make a play and convert. So I'm all for having Carson Steele. I don't know that 4 tight ends is entirely necessary, especially if we keep Carson Steele. The guy I'm interested in and just curious how you guys feel about him is LRZ, if we think he's just going to be a kick return, punt return specialist, or if we think he'll be a running back at all. What do you guys think? He'll play anywhere else?
It's gonna be hard to fit him in this year. I think this year we're so focused on that 3-peat. It's like, hey man, we ain't got time to be teaching you how to play running back, bro. So I would go I would go practice squad for LRZ, and he's getting a lot. He's the Bobby Scipio of training camp. You know that one guy that everybody's like, he's Boomer Grisby right now. So it's like, we love this guy, but the future don't look that bright. Not this year. He's fast though. He is fast, and he looks better today than he looked a week ago, and he looked better a week ago than he looked 2 weeks. You feel what I'm saying? Like he looks better every day, but I just don't think he's ready yet. Look at Manny, man. We know who Manny's rooting for. I think you try to slide him on the practice squad.
I think that was a project card. That's the old school card. That's something you worried about in another year or two, because they signed him. I think me and D-Mac, we was talking about this, I think on Twitter. He signed a 4-year deal or a 3-year deal. It wasn't a 2-year deal.
Yeah, he signed like a standard 4-year kind of option-ish deal. They can cut him if they want to. It's not like anything's really guaranteed. But yeah, he signed a standard 4-year deal.
Yeah, so I don't think that was for now this year anyway. You can come get you a ring your first year and say you was on the team, but we'll worry about you in another couple years. But to answer your question about the running game, I think the running game for me this year, last year, I feel like all year it was like, just don't have Clyde out there. I think Clyde towards the end of the year, he has a role now. I think he's in a better mental space than he was to start of last year. I think he'll have a good role with this team. So I can see him taking some of that McKinnon also. But I'm with Kylie. I like what I seen from Prince. I like how he run those wheel routes. I feel like with Prince and with Wiley, I feel like those players, they're set plays that we can go straight to them this year to use their abilities, and they not just like get crazy amount of snaps. I feel like we can use them sparingly, but they can make an impact this year. I honestly do. I think it's gonna be tough for Irv Smith to make the team. That's gonna be tough because I just don't see how you get rid of Noah Gray. How he played based on how he played last year, I felt like he was one of the few pass catchers that we was like, we need to give him more. So I don't think you take some off of his plate. I understand Wiley's gonna be situational, and I like what we so far what we've seen out of him. It's gonna be tough for that fullback position too, man. I think it's gonna be tough. I know they've been banging it home so far, saying that he's been looking good, Carson, but man, it's gonna be tough to keep a fullback. And my question to y'all on this, and I know Chuck hates this, but keeping a fullback, right? Are we gonna use those type of personnels and formations to use a fullback? Because I feel like when I watch the Chiefs play, I'm always complaining about them running the ball and shotgun. Do we think that's gonna change this year? Because I really don't. We got personnel to do it now, but I still feel like this is gonna be more than 60% of our runs is gonna be in shotgun. What do y'all think?
It'll probably be 75%, and it's a situational thing. But when you talk about obviously the possibility of Irv Smith Jr. being on the team versus Carson Steele, it really comes down to a versatility thing for me. If they really feel like Carson Steele could be a short yardage back option for them, not like they're taking the check off the field for those things necessarily, but that he can do that at times, and they feel like they're comfortable with him at fullback, and they're comfortable with him being at tight end, and then they would just elevate Irv Smith off the practice squad when needed. I can see them saying, yeah, Carson Steele is a guy that we'll find a fullback package for every once in a while. We don't have to use it, but if we want to, it's an option there. And, Steele is a guy that is athletic. He's tough. He's willing to tackle. That is stuff that is going to have its value as far as punt return for punt protection and kickoffs, now that the body types of what you're talking about for a kickoff team is concerned. So all of those things are things that obviously Dave Tobe is taking into consideration, but now is taken into consideration as far as the roster is concerned. And Carson Steele is kind of a guy that's positioned himself well enough that he could push for that fourth, type of spot. But look, Luis Rees-Zammit, to your point, I think is a project. He's a guy who's got to get better over time. He's not ready to play offensive football right now. It looks kind of a struggle right now on the kick returns for him to try and find seams and cut accordingly. There's levels of instincts that he just got to get. But to your point about Carson Steele, I think that he is somebody that's uniquely positioned if he can show those skills, fullback, tight end, running back, during preseason to make this roster because of that specific versatility and the special teams element of this year and the way that they've changed the rules. No, Boogie's still here. Okay.
Yeah, and I guess so. It also will be interesting. I know we was joking about it earlier. If they keep Kadarius Toney as a fourth running back, then you got Clyde, you got Pacheco, you got Toney. Can you even keep Prince if you go consider Toney as a running back? Can you keep Prince? Like, to me, that's go kind of soak it up a little bit. I don't know.
Right. I think that it comes down to, so again, that comes down to how much do they value Kadarius Toney's running back value versus, the punt return value of Nico Remigio. Like, all of those things got to get balanced out. But I think that if they get to cut down day, because I think that they're going to be stuck at 6 wide receivers. And I think Toney is going to be in a battle for Sky and Nico Remigio and, Justin Ross on the periphery, but I do think it's those main 3. I think that's just going to be a battle for wide receiver 6. And if Toney has the running back value, then that's something that they're going to actually take into consideration. But I think the running backs and tight ends are kind of separate from that standpoint. And look, from everything that I've seen in the ways that they've worked at Eric Prince in, I'd be surprised if they left him off this roster at this point. I think that it's going to be him, CH, and Pacheco as the top 3 running backs, and then Carson Steele has a chance to steal a 4th running back spot away from Irv Smith Jr. as a 4th tight end at this point. If I was looking at the roster breakdown.
Yeah, I think that's the most real right now. I think that's, if I was a bet man, that's where I would bet.
Go ahead, Country.
I said the same. I think that it's Deneric Prince. Is that the guy that got in and fumbled, or was that somebody else? Remember last season he played, and was it somebody else?
No, that was it was not Prince. It was somebody else.
I know who you're talking about.
Prince got in, and I said it affectionately, but Prince got in, and he looked like a newborn pony because he took 2 steps and fell behind the line of scrimmage. But he didn't.
That's what I'm talking about. Yeah, that was Prince. Okay.
So, yeah.
He came back with a vengeance this year.
He did.
Hey, you know who I really want to see? Those guys are interesting. I really want to see Carson Wentz. I just want to see him, how he looks. I want to see how the second team runs. We've had some decent second team guys. Like Chad Henne was cool for what he was. This is the most talented backup quarterback that Pat Mahomes has ever had on this. A guy arguably that was an MVP level candidate at one point before the injury when he was in Philadelphia. And shout out to Nick Foles retiring today. I'm curious to see how we're, because Andy Reid lies every year and says we're going to see Pat Mahomes for a quarter. No, we're not. Like, if Pat goes down the field and scores a touchdown, good night, Pat. Have a nice night. It was fun. And you know what I'm saying? Like Andy Reid tells this lie every year about Pat's playing a quarter. No, he's not. So I'm interested to see how that second team offense looks, and that goes for the line too, because I want to see what's the dude Connor. I want to see him. I want to see how they work in the left and the right tackle. I want to see how that rotation looks. Is Wanye gonna get some left tackle snaps? Is he going to get some guard snaps? Are we seeing the future right guard if Trey Smith has to walk this year? Like. Those are all good questions that that need to be answered Saturday night. I'm looking forward to seeing those things.
Yeah, I mean, look, we're only going to get a drive or 2. We're going to get a drive with Patrick Mahomes.
I was saying he does play. It's just like no more than a series.
He'll play a drive. They'll have the main weapons, I assume, out there for a drive. We'll see if Travis Kelce or Chris Jones even play.
Right.
But they'll probably have the first team line, then play maybe a drive or 2 after Patrick Mahomes goes out, and that'll be interesting to see Carson Wentz still working with some of the more important weapons as well. We'll see. Justin Watson's status will be obviously working back from his injury as well. But I agree with you. I'm fascinated to see Carson Wentz because everything that I've seen from him during camp has been really impressive. I will say this. He has impressed me because, obviously Chad Henne and Matt Moore, we asked a lot of Chad Henne when he came up in the playoffs. So he's always going to be a legend for that. And Blaine Gabbert. But what those guys brought to the table, what Carson Wentz can do from a talent perspective is night and day from what I saw from those guys in backup quarterback earlier. So I'm going to be fascinated to see how he operates that second team offense. And I agree, there's guys up and down that offensive line I'm interested to see. But Boogie and Callie, as far as the second team is concerned, who are some guys that you guys are interested in seeing? Offensive line, weapon-wise, or Carson Wentz as well?
I'm super excited to see Carson Wentz. Outside of Justin Herbert, is Carson Wentz the best, second best quarterback in the AFC West?
Think about that's a good one. I like that. I like
she got a point. She does have a point.
I'll be honest with you. I would take Carson Wentz as the third best quarterback in the AFC West. I'm taking him over anybody in the Raiders and Broncos right now. 100%. I have no problem saying it.
Exactly. Like it's
Blame
almost
gone,
like
Bill.
fair.
Blame been gone, man. Shout out to the Broncos. He came and got his ring. Go ahead.
No, I'm super. Everything you were saying, Country. I'm excited to see Carson Wentz. I'm really excited to see, like you said, some of those backup line players. I'm excited to see Kingsley Sunomatia. I'm really just trying to say his name as many times as possible to prove that I can do it. But no, I am just really thrilled to see all these wide receivers and kind of start separating. Like you said, we've talked a lot about tone. We've talked a lot about the wide receiving core, but just trying to see who's going to kind of separate themselves and stand out. I'm most excited to see Vico Remigio. I think he excited me throughout the last preseason. I know we've already talked about it, but if you're looking for one person that I'm most excited to see, it's definitely him. I know Boogie has something to say, but I would ask you something about the defense. I would like to switch gears. So, Boogie, I'll go to you first, though.
I'm with y'all on the offense. I'm actually a Carson Wentz fan. I think them injuries messed him up. I think he could have really been better. Could have really been an elite quarterback. But we've been talking about this bottom half of these receivers. Carson Wentz is the perfect quarterback for the preseason for you to be getting next to, for him to give you that ball. So I'm anxious to see what receiver plays the most snaps. A lot of times they got you out there in this audition for another team. Is Scott Moore go play a lot of snaps? Is Remigio go play a lot of snaps? Washington go play a lot of snaps? Like, it's a lot of receivers that playing for another job or playing to even make the team. So I definitely want to see that. Like Kylie said, Wiley, I want to see him with pads going against another team. I want to see if they can scheme him up. And Prince, like you said, on offense, I like what he can do. He can catch. That's another dynamic that I feel like we need. So I'm anxious to see that on offense.
All right. So I want to know, because I, again, haven't been to training camp. So I'm concerned. I cried for like 5 days straight when we traded Snead, or we got rid of Snead and didn't bring him back. So McDuffie's obviously cornerback one, but where are you guys? How you feel about the cornerback room? And do you feel like anyone's really stepped up to solidify themselves as that cornerback 2 position?
Man, I know D-Mac been out there multiple days, but it seems like every day it's a new guy. It seems like Najee has a good day, and then Josh Williams has a good day. When I was out there, it looked like Jalen Watson was having a good day. So it's just like every day is somebody. So when Boogie's saying the wide receivers starting to separate, but the cornerbacks, it's a little jumbled in there too. I'm waiting for somebody to step up. I think Spag said that, right? Didn't he say that this week, that he wants somebody to step up and take that number 2 job? Because to expound on Kylie's point, Trent McDuffie he might be even better than he was last year. He's showing out every day. This is every day against every wide receiver. The fast ones, the big ones, the physical. He's showing out. He's definitely number 1. And I don't know if he's seen that top 100 list, but that motivation is going to carry him all the rest of the season. But like you said, I don't think nobody stepped up and separated themselves to be that number 2 guy yet. Not yet. We'll see, though.
I think that what you to Country's point, and I've been up there I think multiple times every single week at this point. It's literally a new guy every day. Early on in camp, I would say Joshua Williams was really standing out, and he kind of and he's been pretty consistent generally. I'll say throughout the entirety of camp, but then Kelvin Joseph started getting a lot of outside snaps, and he was actually playing very well. I got to say, I saw some very impressive reps from him. And then we got Jalen Watson back. He got his pads on, and he looked like Jalen Watson. I don't say that he looked better necessarily, but he looked like Jalen Watson out there, a guy that can go step for step with Joshua Williams as well. And then Kelvin Joseph got hurt. So it's like it's going to be a thing where I think all of these guys are going to get a lot of opportunities to compete, and I think it's going to happen throughout preseason, and we're just going to see it. But I also think that with Trip McDuffie is going to be entrenched as the number 1 guy. He's going to be a guy that they can have travel if needed. He's a guy that they can move into the slot if needed. If they want to do more, less 3 safety sets. If they want to do more 3 safety sets, then they'll put him outside because he knows he can do it. And it'll be a rotating, cast of characters every single week because those guys all have different skill sets and different matchups. And I know Boogie disappoints Boogie as far as that answer is concerned, but it might be just Kelvin Joseph, you're doing well this week. Joshua Williams, you're doing well this week. Jalen Watson, you're doing well this week. We're rolling with you as far as that's concerned. But different. I know I'm gonna let you go. Different than what I feel like as far as the wide receivers last year is concerned. I trust Dave Merritt and I trust Steve Spagnuolo to figure it out ultimately. So that makes me comfortable with the rotating cast of characters from that perspective.
DB's on 3. What's up, everybody?
What's up, Chuck? I ain't with that, D-Mac. I trust him. I trust the coaching. He has not done anything for us not to trust him coaching-wise. But I just don't know if we going into a 3-peat, not knowing your number 2 corner is like your top 3 or 4 position on your defense. Like, I don't think we should be rotating that out every game and being game plan specific. I think we need a guy. We got McDuffie. We got Connor in the slot. We need to get that one guy on the outside. I seen Vale was in the comments saying the vet. I'm all for that. But I understand how we work. I know that's very unlikely. We're going to throw these young guys out here. They either go get killed or whatever's going to happen, but they go do it early. Just the history of how the Chiefs been working. But I definitely am not a fan of that. I'm with you. I wish we could have kept Snead. I know business is business, but I would have liked us to pick somebody else up, a veteran. Just me.
Kill or get killed.
Chuck, what's up?
What's going on, Kylie? Great to have you back.
I'm happy to be back. Give us your insights. Give us your input. How you feeling about the defense, secondary?
Oh man, I feel great about the secondary. Got a lot of young, hungry dogs on the secondary. We got the young safety of Jaden Hicks out of Washington State. I mean, a few people have touted him as the number 1 safety in this draft class. So I mean, that's exciting. Chamari Connor, he looks very good in camp. He looks like he could be one of the breakout players on this team this year. Trent is Trent. He's doing his thing, so I ain't really got to worry about him. But I'm just interested to see how Spags is going to insert all these pieces because, I mean, it's a lot of young guys that are hungry and want playing time and can do different things. And then, they have different skill sets to contribute to the team. So that's the main thing I'm looking forward to this season is how Spags is going to incorporate all these guys.
Yeah, for sure. I know you have probably already talked about this with them, but I'm interested to hear since you've been out at training camp, like what was the one thing that kind of caught your eye?
I think I kind of touched on it a little earlier. Carson Wentz. I mean, I actually talked to Carson Wentz after practice the other day, and I just told him, like, man, it looked like you playing with a chip on your shoulder this year. And he kind of smirked a little bit, and he was like, man, I'm just glad to have the opportunity to keep playing football. So that's one thing. And I like how I said he's a top 3 quarterback in his division. I mean, that was pretty funny right there because that really is a debate between him and Minshew. So
top 2 if Herbert's hurt.
Yeah, that is a fact. That is a fact.
When we
But
talk
yeah.
about the defenders that we're looking for in this preseason, I think all of us is gonna have FAU on their list, right?
Oh yeah, we definitely gonna look. We definitely gonna look to see what FAU is gonna do in game action in a year or two. See what he learned and see how he improved. So that's definitely gonna be interesting to see. But I think what with him and George being under Thomas tutelage in the offseason, I mean, you kind of start to see them, expand their game a little bit. I mean, especially George. I mean, I'm sure George want to continue to raise his stock up a little bit from what he did last season. And, whenever FAU's name gets called, I mean, I'm sure he'll be ready to go and prove himself that he wasn't like just no hometown pick per se. So.
Man, George hasn't even hit his like. I feel like he hasn't even peaked yet. I feel like last year he was really just scratching the surface, and now that we got Jones back for another few years, he continues to play off of Chris Jones. Like I'm saying like 25. I said 25 sacks between the two of them, and then people were like, "That's kind of low." But I'm thinking 25 between the two of them. I'm thinking like 13 for Jones, 12 for Karlaftis. Feels right. But no, I'm excited for FAU. I think he's going to step up, like you said. He's really been training that off season, so I'm excited to watch him play. It's a bummer what's gone on with BJ Thompson. Obviously, we would love to have him out there, but I understand he's dealing with a lot of stuff medically. So I just sending all my thoughts out to him and want him to, speedy recovery, get back as soon as he can, and just be healthy. But Mike Dana, he seems to be that guy that kind of flies under the radar, but bringing him back was. I love so much that we have Dana back. I think he's going to have another really big year. I think he's another guy that's just going to continue to get better. So I'm excited about the line. I don't really have too many concerns there. I really don't have too many concerns on defense outside of defensive back and just making sure we've got a second solid one there.
Let me
My
ask you this,
same
Kylie.
worry with the D line is the same worry that we didn't had the last 10 years. Who besides Chris Jones in the interior, especially with Charles being hurt? Like, I feel like that's the only thing that we kind of just don't have. If we came into the season Charles was healthy, I would feel way different about this D line. Not that I feel down on them now, but I will feel way better about them because he could come inside. We know Dana can move inside a little bit too. I think we're gonna miss that a little bit early.
Now, I want to ask y'all this. I mean, how are you guys feeling about the linebackers? Because Willie Gay's not there no more, and then you got Leo coming in to fill in. So, like, can Leo make up just enough for some of the athleticism and speed we may lose with Willie Gay? I mean, how y'all feeling about the linebackers right now?
I think the linebackers probably had the least questions out of everybody for real. Like
Really?
I love Willie Gay. A lot of us love Willie Gay, but I think Leo was ready. It was time. It was like, how long can you hold him down before you just let him loose? And it's just really time to let him loose.
But I feel like what Willie did that Leo couldn't do is like the stuff we're gonna see week one. We're gonna see right out the gate, which was we could have Willie Gay spying and he could use his athleticism on quarterbacks and stuff like that. I'm not sure Leo can do that on the level as Willie Gay. I'm not sure if he can replace him like that.
Leo, I mean, what we've seen so far at camp was that Nick Bolton obviously was still in the mic. Drew Tranquil was taking over the will from Willie Gay's, kind of aspect. And then Leo was staying in his Sam role. And I think that as long as those three things stay in place, I don't really have any issues. Now, Nick Bolton gets hurt. They put in Jack Cochran as a Mike linebacker. Then you start having some issues. So that's why I said, and I tweeted this out, Drew Tranquil and Nick Bolton are like top 7 on this team as far as guys that kind of have to stay healthy because otherwise that linebacker position gets really thin very fast. Even as much as I like guys like Cam Jones or Curtis Jacobs, who is, I think, he's maybe wished one day of not being the first guy down on training camp out there in St. Joe.
He wants it. He wants it.
Yeah, he does want it. Those guys have to stay healthy because of kind of how unique their roles are in this defense from that standpoint. And so that's my question mark. If their health is fine, there's no issues. If it's not, then there's a question mark. But as far as those three are concerned, if they're out there, I'm not concerned because I saw Drew step in admirably as a will position. I think that he will continue to do that for Gay. I think that Nick is going to be Nick and the Mike. And Leo, we've seen as far as that same role is concerned, pseudo edge at times, walking back the line. I think he's improved as far as coverage is concerned. Not good in that case, but he's gotten better. I'm cool with that from that perspective. So it's all about the health, particularly about Nick and Willie and Drew from that perspective.
And real quick, you kind of saw an example of that ripple effect last year when we played the Packers on Sunday night.
Yes.
We was already without Nick Bolton. I don't think Willie Gay played that game. I can't remember, but I know Drew Tranquil got hurt early in the game, and then we had to go to Jack Cochran, and you saw that Green Bay was able to be effective offensively from there on out. Just because the middle linebacker spot was weakened enough to where they could pretty much do whatever they wanted that night. So
let's answer this question.
Andy Reid said Jack knows all the positions.
What week shall we see Charles return? Isn't it week 8?
Yeah,
there's no set. There's no set week, but I'm expecting late October, early November type for Charles Omenihu. He'll push for it to be earlier, but I think they'll be patient. And getting back to the defensive line, as far as it's concerned, as much as it hurts my soul that what happened to B.J. Thompson, because I was looking for him to step up certainly. But what I've seen from Mike Dana looks like he's going to be solid, as he always has been. George Karlaftis looks like he's ready to take another step. George Karlaftis looks like he's out there playing with a nasty streak. I'm not going to lie to you. So I want to see if he can take another step, because if he goes from good number 2 pass rusher to really good number 2 pass rusher, then you're cooking with grease from that perspective. I like what I've seen from FAU to start out camp. I'm not gonna lie. There's explosiveness. He worked on his hand usage with Tamba Ali. I've seen even better functional strength, and his get off is better. So I want to see that translate into the games now as well. More specifically that point about his get off too. But you mentioned Boogie, that interior kind of position next to Chris Jones. We know Pinnell is going to bring the strength in the run game. They use him for limited snaps. He's going to be fine there. We know Derek Nottie, when he gets back from his injury, what he's going to bring to the table generally. The two guys I'm looking for are 99 and 98. Tershawn Wharton, he looks like he has extra explosiveness back after the torn ACL from 2 years ago now, a year removed. It looks like he's what we saw from him down the stretch is transferred over so far. And Fabian Lovett, UDFA out of Florida State. Big guy, but he can move, to say the least. So I want to see both of those guys be able to make some inroads against some, we'll see what type of snaps they get against the first team. Obviously, if Chris Jones isn't playing, which I didn't expect him to be after he missed a few days with a groin. But if you see a lot of Tershawn Ward and Fabian Lovett show up and making plays, then I'm going to be more encouraged about the interior of the defensive line rotation. I feel comfortable with the edges because I think Charles Omenihu will be back mid-season. I think Dana and George Karlaftis can more than hold it down with FAU as a rotational edge rusher at this point.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of positives with Fabian Lovett too during the camp. So I am looking forward to seeing how he does the game match and see that translate over.
Someone told me, or I don't know, I read it somewhere, that Charles Omenihu's already out at camp without a brace on. Can anyone confirm this?
Yeah, he's been walking around. I think he's had a compression sleeve on, but he's been walking around without any type of brace on.
That guy's determined. I don't know if you followed up with any of his videos and that. His little YouTube series. Like, he is determined. It's very, very cool to see the fire in him trying to get back. I'm pulling for him because I think he'll come back with a vengeance.
And he want that contract. He's gonna try to get out there early because he's trying to get paid.
Contract year is undefeated. As Taylor said, man. Contract year is undefeated. He's out there trying to get that money for sure, and he's going to be looking to have another dominant stretch down the back half of the season as they get into the playoffs to certainly make that type of difference as well. So we get into the defensive line, kind of hit on the linebacker secondary a little bit. Is there anything that you guys, kind of want to say as far as really key players that you're going to be, looking for every single time that they take a snap? Obviously, I think we spoke a little bit about interior offensive line, these rookies. Jaden Hicks obviously is going to be along that. Anybody got any person that we haven't necessarily mentioned that, or that we can double down on that they're going to be watching as we get into the first preseason game versus the Jags?
Well, I don't necessarily say have like a person. I want to do like a group. I mean,
I think I think we touched on a lot of like Connor.
Yeah. Oh, go ahead, Book.
Boogie, you okay?
Oh, I thought you was talking. I'm like, damn, what's going
No.
on? Nah, like y'all was saying, Hicks, Connor, all those corners that you named, because I'm completely against that idea. So I'm definitely going to see these corners against the Jags type of receivers. Jags got a lot of receivers, so we should be able to see something early. Doug Peterson also runs that type of the Andy Reid type of offense, so it should be a good matchup where we can see some stuff early. That's a good test, I think.
Yeah, that's where I was going with it. I was about to say the same thing because like Jaguars they got a few solid wide receivers. I mean, they got their first round pick, Brian Thomas Jr. I've seen that reports that he's been improving his route running throughout camp. Interested to see how that's going to translate to the field. Interested to see if we can maybe keep him in check if he does get targeted. Christian Kirk seemed like his role's going to expand again. A lot of people have been kind of sleeping on him. And then you got Gabe Davis from Buffalo. We'll see how he fits in that system with Doug Pearson. And then, of course, Evan Ingram, he had his little breakout year last season. And then, of course, you got ETN. He can run in, catch out the backfield. So I'm interested to see how we can match up with those guys. And, like, I don't know how long Trevor Lawrence is going to play, but, the big thing with him this year in particular is, are people going to see a little more consistency out of Trevor this year, in comparison to like last year. But I think part of that last year is, he was kind of hurt. He was kind of playing with an injury. I mean, that could have been a part of the factor of him not being able to show that consistency or that generational talent label they putting on him. So that's just some of the things I'm kind of looking forward to. So I'm kind of with Boogie on what I want to see on Saturday.
Kylie, you're muted. Oh, I don't know. She went.
Am I muted?
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, you good.
I'll say it again. I'm excited football's back. No, we kind of touched on it earlier. I'm really looking at the wide receiving core. I feel like every year it's kind of the same with that. We know Pat can elevate receivers and make it work. We saw that last year, but I'm really would like there to be a little less pressure on him to have to do that, to pull that much weight. So, and then I just got told that my battery's dying, so I might have to bounce. But
well, before you bounce, it's been a long off season. We are very glad to see you back. We missed you. We stay behind you 1,000%. We always will be. You always will be the queen of this show, no matter what happens. And we appreciate you greatly. And I know you're ready for some football. I know you got some White Claws in the fridge. And Kylie has like the biggest backyard I've ever seen. If you follow Kylie on IG, she was what game were you playing in the backyard?
I don't know if there's a name for it, but we were basically just what's the slingshotting water balloons at someone's belly? And they were like across the field.
Kylie house just looks fun, bro. Kylie and those 2 acres of fun, man. It's just crazy. Welcome back,
Kylie. It's good to be back. I appreciate you saying all of that. I am very happy to be back. You guys are like family. I was actually on a podcast last night with I don't know. He's 14 and his name is Bryce, and he's got a YouTube channel. And I was on his show. I don't know if y'all have seen it, but Arrowhead News and Report or something. But I shouted you guys out, told them you guys are like family, and I truly feel that way. So I'm super psyched to be back. Cannot believe it's already here. I feel like the summer flew by, and here we are back again with preseason, and yeah, it's crazy. So I'm super excited, and we'll have another good season. Let's do it.
Let's
Family's
do it.
forever. Family's forever.
About
So,
beeping at me. Bye, guys.
all right,
Bye.
guys. Should seem like Bulls out of commission too. So
Yeah, but we had
yeah.
some audio issues tonight, but I think it's gonna be fun, man. You know, and like I said, I want to see Carson Wentz. I definitely want to see McCall and Sky, what they do with a credible quarterback. Like, we've never had a okay. This is why I don't know why I keep like I'm so heavy on Carson Wentz, but when that second quarterback comes in, you like, okay, we're not gonna run the same type of offense that Pat was just running. It's definitely gonna be different because Chad Henne ain't got the arm, and Blaine Gabbert, he definitely didn't have the arm. Matt Moore was
He had
kind
the
of
arm. He was just inaccurate. That's all that was.
well, yeah. So, but with the camp updates, Carson Wentz is going deep just as much as Mahomes, from what I've been seeing, and McCall's been benefiting from that a lot. So I just want to see. I want to see if it translates over into the game, you know, and then Chris, what's the name, can come in and do like 4 trick plays and you know, as long as we don't have any injuries, it don't matter if we win or lose. But let's just have some fun.
Country said Chris whatchamacallit.
I can't think. I can't pronounce his last name.
I know.
Oladokin, baby. Oladokin.
Oladokin.
Does Ian Book get any snaps?
Yeah, I'm sure it gets some snaps. I won't enjoy them, but I'm sure he gets some snaps.
Yeah, he'll get like the last bit of the fourth quarter.
He can get the quarterback nailed down.
Nah, he might get a series. He might get a series late in the fourth. But you want to know another thing I'm looking forward to? I wonder how Jacksonville's defense is this year because it took a back seat. So I want to see if we're able to dice them up. I want to see if they improved. You know, I think they played a factor into why they kind of fell off as well this past season. So that's another thing. And also, man, like Nico Remigio, you know, I mean, D-Mac touched on it. You know, he's been one of the camp winners in camp so far. And I just wonder, like, is politics going to get in the way at the end of the day as to why he didn't make this team? Because it kind of felt that way with Emir Smith-Marset. Like, you know, everybody was excited about him and how he contributed, you know, during camp and preseason and all that too. But at the end of the day, he ended up in Carolina and he contributed somewhat. You know, I saw he had a punt return for a touchdown. I mean, whenever he did have opportunity, he did a little.
You're being generous, Chuck. You're being very generous.
Just a little bit. But at the end of the day,
he contributed once.
I just want to know. I just wonder if Nico is going to get treated that same way. That's it.
He got time, bro. I don't think he. It's not like he's just out of nowhere. We know him. I think he'd get a fair shake.
I'll be interested to see if he does, and I hope he certainly does. Like I said, I want to see these guys go out and compete, and I want, whether it's Kai Kadarius or Nico or even Justin Ross, I want these guys to earn it. I want it to be because one of those guys actually stepped up and played well enough for it. So I'm fascinated to see, obviously, all of those guys. I said generic Prince is high up on my list because of how much work he's been getting with the number ones. I'm fascinated to see if that translates over and if he does get similar snaps and how does he take advantage of those snaps as well. On the defensive end, like Watson and Williams, like how much can you do, man? How much can one of you guys try and stand out here? Because I don't think Kelvin Joseph is probably going to end up playing in this first one, so it may end up being safe for him in the second preseason game. But like, I want to see how much, and I've already named kind of my defensive line guys as far as Warden and Fabian Lovett, and obviously Felix and Duque Zama. And we'll get our first taste of Kingsley Suamataia. I expect that he's going to get obviously probably 3 series as far as the left tackle is concerned. Well, I think we'll expect to see Wanye Morris out there as a second team left tackle. If Wanye is inside for any snaps, it's going to be fascinating. Specifically, obviously, you expect Caliendo is going to get first team left guard snaps, but if they choose to have Wanye out there at left guard, Tui won't play. I'd be fascinated from that aspect. where Hunter and Rosette and CJ Hansen line up is also going to be interesting too. So, yeah, I mean, those I'd say are some of the names I'm certainly going to be watching from that aspect as well. So
You got Caliendo starting at left guard.
Yeah, they've had him.
You don't got Tooney playing this. Okay.
No, he
so who's your first?
Tooney definitely not playing.
Who's your first guy off the bench? Wanye. Well, where does he go though?
Well, so I think that they'll do a wholesale kind of substitution. So it'll be the Kingsley, Caliendo, Trey, Taylor for probably the first three drives, and they'll have Mahomes play one of those and Barbie Carson 2 of those. And then, but I'm fascinated to see what happens next. Like I'm interested if they try to get Wanye in one of those 3 drives in Caliendo's place. Because I don't think they would necessarily do it in Suamata's place, but I'd be interested to see if they do. Because that means it's more of a competition than I peg it as right now. Because I think Kingsley is going to be left tackle at this point. But I expected it to be Wanye at left tackle, and then
he's a big man.
He's a big man, and he can move very well as a big man, to say the least. But yeah, I think Wanye come in at second team left tackle, and we'll see where Norzad and CJ Hansen line up and relative to them. True Godric is fascinating. Is it going to be him or Niang at second team right tackle? It's going to be a little bit interesting to watch too. So those are some of the offensive line things to key in on.
I was interested because like a while back after Kingsley was drafted, D-Mac was hesitant to say that Kingsley could be ready by week 1 and be their left tackle. He was very hesitant, and I was like, bro, Kingsley is a quick learner. He's gonna get it. It's not gonna take him long to get the understanding. Like, is he gonna go through some growing pains during the season? Of course. I mean, go get all the different defense ends. All kinds of air rush, they're gonna have different, techniques, and you may have to counter with a spin move on the inside or outside, a little swipe move, whatever you want to call it. But at the end of the day, man, I think we got our future left tackle, our future franchise left tackle, and he's gonna do pretty well protecting the pack. But as far as like Wanye goes, I'm interested to see if they're gonna play some at both positions, like play some left tackle, and then later on move over to the left guard and, see where he fit in. So that's why I'm kind of interested in to see what they do with Wanye in that aspect, because he could be like one of our swing guys for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. I think that they're training Wanye to be that swing guy. So, how much he can provide value-wise is going to determine. I think that he'll be on the roster, but it's going to determine how much Lucas Niang or True Godric ends up getting work at right tackle is going to be fascinating too. So, yeah. I mean, look, it's always a preseason game, so you're going to see a lot of backups get in there, and you're going to have some chances for guys to pop. And it's nice that it's going to be actually full speed football with guys trying to earn jobs. So I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, because the tension is erupting, and people are tired of hitting their own teammates. Because every day in camp across the NFL is a new fight. Malik Neighbors and who was the Neighbors fighting?
He was
fighting the cornerback from the Lions, right?
Yeah, I don't know his name, but it was somebody in the Detroit secondary. I can't remember the name.
Yeah, that was a good one. Stop hitting helmets, bro. It don't make no sense, and you gonna only end up hurting yourself. So don't punch a person that already got a helmet on. It's just, and don't be DK Metcalf and throw a helmet at people. Like, what are you doing, bro? Like, don't do that either. So,
hey man, that's just the tempers of joint practices in training camp. But yeah, even if the helmets are padded, you still don't want to hit the helmet, bro. Like, you still probably feel hard as heck.
Can we agree joint practices should be outlawed? It should be over, right?
No, I think they should keep doing joint practices as long as Andy Reid continues to not do joint practices, because it's clearly an advantage that Andy Reid is taking advantage of every single time. Like, people continue to want to do them, and I'm good for them. I'm happy about that, because Andy Reid knows how to get his team ready better than anybody else in the league. So I love the fact that they continue to put themselves at a disadvantage, having all those training camp fights and dudes smacking people and running away, and then them getting into fist fights and pushing people all over the place. Yeah, nobody got time for all that.
Yeah, I said, man, keep me entertained, dog. Like, let them bum ass teams keep doing those joint practices and doing dumb stuff after the play. Yeah, let's keep that going. Yeah.
Jesus Christ. We haven't talked about Rasheed Rice like none this podcast. Do y'all realize that?
Um,
I don't
He
think
yes,
hasn't
his
talked
name has
about
been
other than
mentioned.
he need to be in, like, somebody tweeted out that he need to be in the Hall of Fame at 7-on-7. That man has been getting pepper over targets, to say the least, man. It's so obviously the suspension is something that is still up in the air, and we'll see as we get closer to week 1 if it rears its ugly head or if it's something that's going to get pushed off till 2024. But hey, man, if he's there, he's going to get peppered with a lot of targets, especially as they, try and scale back Travis Kelce. It seems like they're very comfortable, or not they, but specifically Patrick Mahomes is very comfortable throwing to him on a consistent basis, and that's a good thing because they need
He's clearly
credentials.
one. He is clearly. I think he's wide receiver one right now. Like he's kicking ass, and this is good because he got in a lot of trouble this summer, and he's been over that. But I think he learned a valuable lesson, and he's kept his head down every day and went to work every day in camp. So he he made sunshine out of a dark place. You know what I'm saying? Like it's a rainbow at the end of the cloud, Rasheed. He's been kicking ass this camp. So
for sure.
Kevin, this is a football podcast. It doesn't have nothing to do with the Olympics.
Right. We maybe talk about the Olympics at the end of this episode. We'll see.
No,
But
we don't need to.
But yeah, Rasheed Rice. No, I'm
Shout
not.
out to Quincy Hall.
But no,
Sorry.
I'm not gonna ask about basketball. But anyway, yeah, Rasheed Rice, he looks very good in camp so far. D-Mac already touched on how he's been a beast in the 7-on-7. But you say he's wide receiver one. I mean, yeah, he been in the system a little more than Hollywood Brown, but from what I've seen, I mean, I've seen Patrick kind of pepper Hollywood Brown quite a bit, try to build chemistry with him. So it's like, I don't know, because Hollywood is playing for a contract too.
I've been hearing Rice more than Hollywood. I'm not saying you lying. I'm just saying I've been hearing Rice's name a lot.
I mean, I was hearing Hollywood a lot in the beginning.
We've heard a lot of them. I think both, and I think we've heard obviously Xavier Worthy for more of the splash plays. But the reality situation is, I think that there's a chance that Rasheed Rice leads the league or not leads the league, leads the room in catches or targets.
I said leads the league, boy.
Yeah, no, and Hollywood Brown ends up leading them in yards or touchdowns. Like, those things are possible in my opinion, because I think that Hollywood Brown will get some deeper targets, some more explosive plays from that perspective. So he may not be peppered in the same way that Rasheed Rice will, but Rasheed Rice will still take advantage of his targets and get some yards after the catch. And I think the beauty of it is the fact that we feel like those two guys complement each other really well, complement Travis Kelce well, and Xavier Worthy can create down the field the way that he can, and he's a fourth option as a rookie coming into this, and Justin Watson is behind those guys, and we feel great about Noah Gray and Jared Wiley. Just speaks to how much better this weapon room looks compared to what it did last year.
Do you foresee one of those? Even when we won the Super Bowl, there was always like a mid-season or early season slump of that was supposed to be together, but it's not really coming together. Do you foresee that this year? They have so many options this year. It doesn't look like even there could be like a slump because, okay, well, Travis looks old. Well, we got Wiley now. We got a Noah Gray that's coming into his third year. Like, we got 3 separate running backs. You know what I'm saying? Like, it should be are they slump proof?
I mean, it's as close to slump proof as you can think of on paper.
Yeah, on paper. Well, always on paper, but they've looked slump proof before. Not like this, though.
I think people are concerned about the running back room, maybe, because, like, if Pacheco gets hurt, I mean, people have concerns about Clyde being RB1, see if he can handle that workload, and then you got the Deneric Prince stepping up. We got to see if he gonna step up and improve from the little bit of game action he had last year. So, but go ahead, D-Mac, my fault.
No, you're good. I was going to say, look, I think that it's perfectly fair question to ask because you go back through the years. 2023, we know how much of a struggle that was. 2022, it had a little bit of a lull there, kind of after the 49ers game explosion, where we were looking for more of the deep ball and just couldn't come from that perspective. And we still were able to get the job done even despite that. 2021 was the whole Mahomes' broken year, and obviously we saw what happened in the AFC Championship game. 2020, looked pretty damn good, honestly, throughout, and then the offensive line sunk
Mhm.
it. So you can have, and then even you go back 2019, we know Mahomes got hurt, and even then it was a little bit up and down. Even his first game back, we somehow found a way to lose that game. But even in 2018, when the offense was a complete supernova, we still, were under 30 points against the Ravens, or under 30 points against the Cardinals. So like those things will happen throughout a season, and some of it will just be you play ball control and you don't have to do much versus a certain team, or you can just have a bad day out there. But to Chuck's point, the weapons in this room on paper have such a higher floor than what we saw from last year. That's the most important thing. That the consistent performance of this team is just going to be higher because the offensive system's in place, the quarterback's in place. The offensive line, generally speaking, I know Kingsley is the question mark there, but I feel comfortable with the entire left guard to right tackle combination when Joe Tooney is back. So I'm comfortable there. And you got three good options at wide receiver that all complement each other. You have the best tight end in the game. You have two tight ends behind him. You've got a really good running back in Isaiah Pacheco that looks like he's taking on the challenge of trying to be a 3-down guy. So, no, I mean, there'll probably be two to three games in this season, maybe 4 games in this season where we'll be like, okay, well, that didn't look great. That was really concerning. But I think that the way I'm approaching it is, last year, I found my way to not lose faith in this team, and I came on every week like, yeah, it may not look good, but I still trust them to figure it out when it matters most. I don't think I'm going to have to say that too often this year compared to how bad it was last year.
Okay, I got 2 questions, and I'm sorry, we got 2 questions. Okay, during the first time we tried to, not the first time, but last time we went to the Super Bowl or did a back-to-back, there were games where the Atlanta game stands out where they just did enough to win. Or I'm going to put it like this. Do you think there are games that this schedule is so tough? Are there certain games where they can kind of conserve some energy for the next week? Or it doesn't look pretty, but they squeaked out a win? Long as we win, do you foresee? That's probably more of a regular season question, but
oh yeah,
do you see that type of, hey, we're gonna dial down right here and save for this next game because we got another game in 3 days? Like, do you see that for happening? And then the other question I got, let me know. Go ahead, bro.
No, my fault. I'm sorry. The Panthers, like, you're going to be 5 weeks removed from your bye week at that point. It's the Panthers. You should be able to be in control for the majority of that game and not have to go, full pedal to the metal to win that game. And then I'll be honest with you, right after that, and this though comes with the whole caveat of, hey, there's a lot riding on this with extra motivation. The Raiders. The Raiders at home, I don't think the Raiders are going to be a good team, and it's a conversation we can have about it. But I don't think they're going to be. So you can conserve some energy there. Home against the Broncos before you have to go to Buffalo. Those things. So we know we have those types of games sometimes, and I think that those would be the ones that would stand out to me as possibilities, specifically because of where they fall on the schedule.
Yeah, what's funny is that like the people that are hyping up the Raiders a little bit just because they got Christian Wilkins and they got a better defensive line now, so their defense is going to improve a little bit. But
they don't have a quarterback.
Yeah, but it was like Minshew though. That's the thing. Like he's average. That's basically what it is. He's average. And I don't think
average is very nice. Average is very nice.
Chuck being very generous today. I don't know what's going on.
But I mean, when you look at his overall production, I mean, he looks like an average quarterback.
Shane Steichen ain't there to save him, so average is very nice.
Well, hold on, but in Jacksonville, he was balling a little bit in Jacksonville too.
No, he was not.
Where was he balling? Yes, he was.
What? Was he balling? A quarter or two? What are you talking about?
I mean, I'm not saying he was like all Pro Bowl type quarterback, but he was decent enough to put Jacksonville in position to win games.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah. I mean,
I'm not
They
scared
weren't a
of
good team, but sure, I guess.
Right, they weren't good.
He's always been a below average to bad quarterback, and generally speaking, he's either had really good coaching to make it an average average production wise from that perspective, but I don't think he's good at all or average. I don't think he should be a starting quarterback. There you go.
no,
Okay.
at
All
all.
right. I mean, that's cool. That's cool. I mean, at the end of the day, we're going to win this division anyway. Again, so but
So the second question I had, by when do we need a nickname for our wide receivers?
we like there's could be a possible new nickname besides the Legion of Zoom 2.0.
We use that. No, let's do something different. Let's be original on this.
I want to shout out Arrowhead Live because they did the Fahrenheit 451, which as an avid book reader, I enjoyed.
It's not bad. It's not bad. That's not bad. That's tough, actually.
That's kind of tough.
Put out, yeah,
I was gonna go with Hollywood Worthy Rice.
Huh?
It's Hollywood Worthy.
Yeah, Hollywood Worthy Rice. Yeah, I see.
Nah.
I'm joking. Chuck said, huh?
But no, and then the Chiefs put out a clip of them coming down the hill and said, "Does Kansas City have a new area code?" I don't know what exactly it's going to be. Hopefully, it comes with time. I'm going to be singing Hollywood, swinging every single time that Hollywood scores a touchdown.
That's funny.
Makes a big play in general. But no, I'm just happy that these guys look like they're about to ball out. So we do need a nickname for them for sure. I agree.
Yeah, we can. Yeah, it's gonna take some thinking, brainstorming, but I'm sure we'll click on something.
Yeah. So
it'll come with time.
It'll come.
I got a question to y'all about Travis Kelce so far in camp. So we done see him do these hook and ladder plays more often than any other camp he's done. Like, is this a actual preview of things to come for the season, or he's just like, man, I'm saving my legs, man. I'm old. I don't need to be running like that.
Both.
I'm going with both too. I think that we've seen him try it in the past. We've seen him win a game, save for Kadarius Toney lining up in the wrong place with it in the past. I think that it's very much something that they don't mind practicing and possibly pulling off in the game. And look, it is something in rugby that is used as a legitimate play. The hook and ladder is something that has been used in the past and been used effectively. It's not out of the question that it works. I think it's actually more plausible that it happens and works than Mahomes is behind the back pass, which is obviously we got a clip from last training camp practice. So all those things are always fun to see. But yeah, I think that they want to use the lateral stuff, and I think that is also about saving his legs as well.
Yeah, because you mentioned that behind the back pass, right? That's like pretty much the same formation they run that shovel pass at times with the running back. So do you think do you think that's a sign of things to come for this year? You think Patrick actually
it's gonna happen? It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen, bro. Raiders, be careful.
It's gotta be.
Be careful.
So what I said was this, because you said it. They use that formation a lot for the shovel pass because they do the spread out option and they come right back under. Mm-hmm. Both Christian Wilkins and Max Crosby and Antonio Pierce as the entire team. They're too smart not to key in on that, so they're going to be on it if that does happen versus them. And they don't want to be the team that gets embarrassed for that as well. So I think, could end up being wrong, but I think that they're going to end up trying some variation where it looks like a shovel pass, but he does the behind the back in some manner that is different than the shovel pass, and it ends up being an open touchdown. And it's going to be versus the Raiders because it has to be versus the Raiders.
It has to be.
It has to be.
So they're going to do something where it looks like it's a shovel pass, but he uses the behind the back pass and throws everybody off and gets a touchdown. It would be my prediction for when it gets used, but certainly against the Raiders, no doubt about it.
They did it to themselves. Be mad at yourself. Don't be mad at Pat for doing that because y'all did it. Mm-hmm. You the one put that rookie. That was so dirty what they did to that guy. They threw that guy completely under the bus. And it was a fan. Oh, God. How could you be a fan of your team and do that to your team? Because you know what you did to your team.
And Jack Jones was pissed. He was pissed off.
Because
when
he know
saw
too.
that.
Like, man, I got to defend this man. Y'all gonna pull a Kermit on stage? No, bro. You serious? You woke up the wrong.
You want the Rama? You want the Rama?
Oh God! Don't give Pat any more motivation. We're not going to even talk about the top 100 list, and from now on, as a show, we might not ever talk about the top 100 list ever again because that was so trash. But I mean, if y'all want to keep motivating this guy, we've been telling you he is petty. He's Michael Jordan level of petty. Caleb Williams, thank you. He might not even took that as a shot, but he that petty, bro. You gotta say his name anyway. You don't care if you don't like him. Say his name anyway.
Hold on, wait a minute. What did Caleb Williams say? I missed that.
His favorite quarterbacks was Aaron Rodgers and Matt Stafford.
I don't think that's bad.
And he didn't, you know, he didn't mention the name.
I'm not tripping off of that.
It was,
man.
bro.
That's nothing.
He's petty. What part of he's petty?
He's going to take it as a slight. I agree, but I don't think it was anything.
And Chuck, and if you don't believe me, Bobby said maybe young quarterbacks shouldn't talk that much.
Oh boy.
Yeah, he's petty.
That was really nothing though, man.
It don't matter, bro.
I don't know if there's more to the quote because it was not represented that way. They made it sound as if they asked him his top 3 quarterbacks and he didn't improve. So I don't know if it was a favorite thing or top 3. So I don't know, but look, he's going to take everything as a slight. My question to you guys is, who do you guys think that he's counting the 4 on? Do you guys think it's Christian McCaffrey? Do you guys think that it's Lamar Jackson and the Ravens? Do you think it's the Bengals because fuck the Bengals? What do you guys think ends up getting the count to 4 on in their face? We don't play the Dolphins this year, so
I'm gonna go Ravens because Bengals got enough history where he ain't got to pull that out on them. We got enough on y'all. We good. We don't need no motivation for y'all.
We locked in.
Yeah, we locked in for y'all. So the Ravens might get a little. Yeah, the Ravens. It might be the Ravens.
It might be it because over the last few months, I should say, he's heard a whole lot about, oh, you guys only scored 17 versus them, so he might come out and score shit.
Yeah, I mean, he definitely would want to. I think he probably would be motivated to do that on the opening night because last year we didn't have Travis, we didn't have Chris, we had all drop passes. Mostly by Kadarius Toney. So I'm sure you want to get some redemption from that.
Poor Kadarius Toney.
Well, D-Man said he had to go.
DVN. All right, so hey man, preseason game, Saturday night, man. Y'all get ready. It's gonna be a good game. It's gonna be I ain't gonna say competitive, but just stay healthy, no injuries. You know how we do.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And before we go, man, just a few things real quick. Today is 8/8/24, so it's Kobe Day. I had to represent my guy, man. Rest in peace to the Black Mamba.
Rest in peace to Kobe.
Yeah, 5-time world champ, NBA champ, 2-time gold medalist. Yeah, but
top 5 ever, top 10 ever.
I mean, he's top 2 for me, but that's fair. So like speaking of the Olympics though, man, like what's been your favorite part about the Olympics if you watched any at all?
I haven't watched a bit of the Olympics. Shout out to Quincy Hall. Shout out to Kansas City, bro. Yeah, I did watch that moment. Shout out to his brother. And Harold got a good soundbite, good interview, and you can feel that emotion and that feeling from his brother, and I appreciate that, man, and that was fun. I'm rooting for everybody Kansas City, no matter what. We Kansas City strong. So that's the only part. I'm not really an Olympics guy, bro. I don't know. Plus, I work too much.
I feel you. But Simone Biles, she's the best. She's the best ever.
Shout out to Simone and Sha'Carri and who else?
Sha'Carri got
what's the dude that ran? What's the dude? Noah Lyles. Is that
Yeah,
his name?
he won gold in 100. Then he got a bronze in his best event, and then there's like
Yeah,
controversy. There's like controversy with that, saying that he was running sick and all that. But
I don't like him running with COVID, bro. That's like, come on, that's
it's
that's a little
it,
too
it's kind of
weak.
suspect because I seen a video of him during the introduction. He came out jumping and celebrating, all fired up, excited. But some
Well,
people
they said he
said,
tested positive for COVID.
right, then he had the mask on after the race. I mean, I don't know. I got to look at everything. I got to look at the replay or whatever.
I mean, it's the Olympics. I get it. Because it is the Olympics. You don't want to you train 4 years for these two events. You don't want to miss one, but you don't also want to give somebody else COVID. You know what I'm saying? Because you don't want to ruin their dreams neither.
Mm-hmm.
You feel me?
But
So I get it though.
One thing that was disappointing about the Olympics this year is that a lot the Jamaican women, man, like they was too hurt to compete, or one had to pull out due to some dumb rule change. And I was just because I really want to see U.S. and Jamaica really go at it like that.
Who got the next Olympics?
L.A., Los Angeles.
L.A. is back in them. Oh, okay.
Yep,
Yeah, that's gonna be lit. That's gonna be lit.
Oh, heck yeah.
Yeah, man. Congratulations, man. You know, Team America, man. Hey, I wish I had some money because Polo got an Olympic line. All that stuff is super expensive, but it's super, super dope. Like they don't miss. Polo got some stuff, bro, for real. So shout out to the Olympians, man. And pay them, man. Hey, pay these Olympic athletes more money than what, $37,000 for a gold medal?
Right.
Come on, man. Come on.
Hey, man.
You got NFL players making $200 million, 30, 40, $60 million a year. You can't give a guy that make Olympics $1 million every 4 years? Like, come on, man.
That is
weird. Do better.
Though. That is weird though, because they are representing the country, like the entire.
They represent the entire country, bro. The entire country.
Yeah, so that's pretty strange.
It's weird. And you got Shannon Sharp and Ocho paying them out of their pocket. Like, that's crazy, bro. Like, you shouldn't have to do that. So kind of pay them what they worth, man. And teachers and all that. I know y'all need to be getting paid too, but pay them more than that, man. That's crazy. They represent y'all entire country, and y'all definitely making money off of this. So
and
pay them what they worth.
And you know I'm all for the educators getting more pay as well.
Definitely,
like, gotta deal with these the way these kids are these days. That's a lot. That's all I gotta say. It's a lot.
Hey man, thank y'all for sticking with us. I know we had some audio issues tonight. Man, it was good to see the whole team back. Welcome back, Kylie. The heart and soul of this podcast. Shout out to Book, shout out to D-Mac, Boogie. I mean, damn, you standing right there and I said Boogie. But shout out to Chuck. We did a C-Dot's podcast today, the Bad Movies. What's the name of it?
Yeah,
Bad Movies, Worst Opinions?
Yeah, something like that. I kind of forgot the title too. I ain't gonna hold you.
Yeah, so we did that show. It'll be coming out a couple weeks from now. Y'all tune into that. Let us know what y'all think. We got a good movie. We'll wait. We ain't gonna spoil the movie, but I think we did good. CJ was with us. Shout out to them.
Tell the truth, guys.
Tell the truth, guys. So before we go, I want to. Oh, you got something? Because I wanted to say something before we go.
Nah, go ahead. I'll go after you.
Okay. I want to, and I haven't even asked him if I can do this, but I want to give a shout out to our Tell the Truth host, DG. He had an event, a situation, a tragedy, you know what I'm saying, for lack of words. I just want to express, bro, we love you, man. You know, we got your back 1,000%. We are there for you. We support you. You take your time, no rush. If y'all see him, give him some love, you know what I'm saying, or whatever, and give him best wishes and your prayers and your love, and fly high, Kai, forever.
Yeah, and I think like he put out a cat. I think there was like a post about sending money to his Cash App, for him and his wife. They need like financial assistance. So I think it was like $91 till infinity. I think it's 2 L's. I want to say it's 1 or 2 L's, one of them. But if you want to donate, pitch in to his family and help him out, whatever situation they got going on, it'd be greatly appreciated. And also one last thing, man. Oh, shoot, I thought to by myself. Nah, one last thing, man. I know some of y'all saw my tweets earlier from when Team USA played basketball. I want Team USA to win the gold, but just stop playing dumb as hell. That's all I ask. That's all I ask. That's it. But yeah, room for more gold medals for Team USA, dog. So
hey, bring on the gold, man. Bring on the gold.
So
yo, Kingdom Cast, man. We out, man. We'll see y'all Saturday night.
Yes, sir. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, share our social media platforms.
For sure.
Till the next episode, we out.
Mustard on the beat, ho.
Mustard on the beat, ho.